G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. I'm up here at the picturesque Nelson Bay, and you can see we've got a beautiful harbour here. And if I pan all the way around, you can see that there's a bit of cloud coming our way and a bit of rain. So hopefully I can get my vlog knocked out in the next 20 minutes before this rain gets here. And like I normally do, what I'm going to do today is take you through a book summary. And the book summary is entitled Lives of the Stoics by Ryan Holiday. Ryan Holiday is an interesting author, and he's written a few books on Stoicism, which is interesting. But what we'll do is we'll go through what he has to say about this school of philosophy, the Stoic philosophy, the school of Stoicism, and see what we can learn and see what we can glean from his writings, and see how we can apply it in our own lives. So Ryan Holiday kicks off his book with a definition, and he says that there is no better definition of a Stoic than to have but not want, to enjoy without needing. Let me say that again, because it is quite powerful. To have but not want, to enjoy without needing. So it's basically a school of philosophy which enables us to live our lives happily by having fewer things in our lives, to not be possessive, but to be able to just live with what we've got without having or needing anything over and above that. So I remember years ago going to a presentation where the presenter said that there are many people in the world who spend money they don't have to buy things they don't need to impress people they don't like. And that's a treadmill, a hedonistic treadmill that we must all avoid, because once you get on that treadmill, it's very, very hard to get off it. And this is where Ryan Holiday talks to us and gives us his views on Stoicism and how we can apply it in our lives and live better ever after. And can I also add, even though this is ancient Greek philosophy, this whole Stoicism way of living, it's also an integral, central part of Christianity, and no doubt many of the other religions that we have in the world today. So Ryan informs us that the art of Stoicism started in ancient Greece in the times of BC, before Christ, in ancient times. And this whole art form of thought and living is where we consider that living in the right way is more than just saying the right thing. So the school of Stoicism is more than just a philosophy. It's a way of life. It's a way of living, and it's got a number of elements to it that we'll try and decipher as we go through this book summary. So the first formal point to come from this book and this author is where the author gives us a bit of history on Stoicism and what it's all about. And the first formal point is that Stoicism began as a way to cope with life's hardships, life's many hardships. And it started in 4th century BC by an ancient philosopher known as Zeno. So the philosopher Zeno is said to have initiated this school of philosophy after having a devastating shipwreck in the Mediterranean, where he lost everything. Apparently he was a purple dye trader, and on one of his expeditions had a shipwreck and lost all of his produce, and basically was bankrupt or put into a position where he could not recover from financially. So, he was put into a situation, and as we've learnt time and time again, it's not what happens to you, but what you do about it that determines a person's character. So Zeno, the great philosopher, showed resilience and courage to the confrontation of a big trial of life. So he copped it. He copped it hard, but rather than just submit to it and have it overpower him, he was able to leverage it and make the most of it. So Zeno, the father of the Stoic school of philosophy, is said to have moved to Athens. And when he moved to Athens, he saw and he realized and he learnt that many of the Athenians had lots of slaves. And by having lots of slaves doing the work for you and doing the menial chores, it provided the wealthy people, the academics, the educated, with lots more time to chat, and by having more time available to you to reflect, to chat, to consider things, then you're also in a position to start changing your future by dreaming and actualizing those thoughts, because you've got the money, you've got the time, and you've got the resources. So in Athens, Zeno's teacher was Crates of Thebes. So the first lesson that Zeno learnt was to let go of what others thought of him. What a profound and powerful point that is. Could you imagine how much better our lives would be if we simply let go and not worried about what others think of us? So according to this author and this book, what we're saying is that the first lesson that Zeno learnt from Crates of Thebes was to let go of what others thought of him. Storm's starting to come in, so I'll just move further down here and get out of the elements. So the guiding principles of Stoicism is courage, wisdom, temperance, and justice. So let's just see where it leads us, where it takes us. I'll just get down here and get out of the wind. So I'll continue my book summary here, and I hopefully won't get buffeted by the wind. So Zeno gave his talks from a porch, hence Stoicism, coming from the Greek word stoa, to preach from a porch. So he named his branch of philosophy over a porch rather than from himself, which is significantly different, because we've got the Socratic, we've got the Plato, we've got the Aristotelian schools of philosophy, which are named after the philosophers. But the good thing, or the different thing about Stoicism, is it's not named after a particular person, but named after a particular event. So the second formal point to come from this author is that some people, regardless of what they learn, fail to practice what they preach. And when we go to ancient Rome, so we leave ancient Greece and we go to ancient Rome, what we learn here is that other philosophers, other Stoic philosophers, come into existence and make a name for themselves as well. And one of them is named Cicero, and he wrote a book about Stoicism, but didn't always live up to his ideals. He was more a lecturer or a preacher than a person who practiced what he preached. And Cicero was the consul of Rome and a commander of the Roman army. Apparently he didn't have virtuous motives. All he wanted, like most people, was the fame and acclaim. And he let anger get the best of him, where justice was more important than the passion. So not everybody who was a Stoic philosopher actually lived their philosophy in the best form, and Cicero is one of those examples. The third point to come from this author is where he talks about another philosopher, a Roman emperor by the name of Marcus Aurelius, who led his empire with Stoic compassion and humility. So once again, Stoic philosophy had its birthplace in Greece, or it could have had its birthplace elsewhere, but history informs us that it came from Greece and it then moved on to other places. And Marcus Aurelius was a Stoic Roman emperor who used it in leading his people. But what we learn is that usually those in power quickly become corrupt. And interestingly enough, Marcus Aurelius was the first philosopher king, and he was the successor to Hadrian. And he was 17 years old when he came to the throne in 121 AD. But to his credit, believe it or not, he didn't let power go to his head. And he shared leadership of his empire with his adoptive brother. He also went as far as forgiving his conspirators and people who worked against him. So once again, practicing what he preached. And he did for the ordinary Roman as much as he did for the elite. So for the first time, I guess, in Roman history, the ordinary man in Rome had as much of a voice as what the elite had. And he also sold ornaments rather than raise taxes for people. But he had to, of course, deal with the jealousy and the anger with the elite. But he just did what he had to do to win over the masses. He knew that it was far more important to do the right thing by the people and for the people in order to have them on side, to enable him to stay in power and to achieve the greatness, the many great things that he was able to achieve. So there we go. Another book summary, another 20 minutes of just walking and talking and enjoying the beauty of this country that we have. One of the key purposes of Jim's 5am Club is to showcase and highlight the beauty of this country that I live in and overlay it with an empowering message, a message in the form of OPE, other people's experiences that come to us via books, via experiences that and through our families, through our cultures, through our religions. But I'm in a position, fortunately I'm in a position where I do have some time and I do have the passion to be able to sit down and to share with you my learnings. And as I've said time and time again, the thing that drives me is learning something new every day, but not only learning it, but also passing it on. My catch cry is live, learn and pass it on. So these vlogs, these many vlogs that I've put together are just an expression of my passion for learning, my passion for teaching, and hopefully I can implement them in my life as well as you can implement some of these learnings in your life. Anyway, take care. Wishing you all the very best for today, Sunday, the first day of the week, and may tomorrow, the first work day of the week, be productive and good for us all as well. Take care. Wishing you all the best. Yasas and bye for now.